and welcome to Telehop's easy guide to installing our home phone service. Simply follow these steps to ensure optimal setup and get the highest quality service out of your Telehop home phone. Before we start, please make sure you have a high-speed internet connection active to connect to your ATA. Also, please remember to turn off all your computers, modems, routers, hubs, and switches to avoid potential damage during the installation process. This setup guide is applicable if you have one computer connected to the internet. If you have multiple computers on your network, please see our guide on connecting your ATA with multiple computers. First, connect your high-speed internet modem to the ATA internet port using the straight Ethernet cable. Then connect the ATA Ethernet port to your computer using your previous cable or another straight Ethernet cable. Finally, connect a telephone set to the phone 1 port in the ATA using your existing phone cable. Please make sure not to connect the phone 1 port to a telephone wall jack. You only connect a telephone set or fax machine to the phone 1 port. Otherwise, the ATA or the telephone wiring may get damaged. Note, not all fax machines are compatible with VoIP. Your ATA hardware setup is now complete. Please see our guide on configuring the ATA and your network to complete the installation process.